When was the last time you stopped to ask yourself, what does success really mean to me? Most of us spend our lives chasing someone else's idea of success. Money, fame, status, you name it. But what if that's not what truly makes us happy? Hello my loves, welcome back to Lavendaire, where we talk about all things personal growth and lifestyle design. Today we're diving into one of the first and most crucial steps to creating your best life, defining what success and happiness mean to you. This is one of those very overlooked steps. I think to some it's obvious, to others they completely miss the mark, right? I think we grow up having notions of what success and what happiness looks like, but really it is someone else's version of success and happiness. We were influenced by something outside of us to believe that that's what we wanted. And growing up, as we begin to embark on this journey of carving and creating our life, we start to come across this question: is this what I really want? And if you've come across that question, amazing. I'm so happy because you are starting to question what's really important, what you really want, what you're really doing this all for. The biggest thing that people get wrong about happiness and success is they think it's tied to those external results. They think it's tied to the money, the fame, wealth, recognition, whatever it may be. And yes, those things can give you a baseline level of happiness and success, but I'm sure you've seen a lot of people who seem to have it all and yet they're depressed. They have anxiety, they're stressed, they're not happy with their lives. And so what is happiness? What is true happiness? What is true success? So this is where we have to start to see underneath the surface, go beyond the external and start looking at the internal. How do you define happiness? How do you define success? Because it can mean different things to different people, and that's okay. That's how it's supposed to be. There's not one version of, oh, this is the most successful person, this is the happiest person, because everybody is allowed to have their own definitions. So today, let's get into how to define your own version of happiness and success so that you have a compass to guide you as you go along life, as you create your dream life. Because if you don't have this compass, it's really easy to veer off and get thrown in the wrong direction, on the wrong path, chasing something you think will bring you happiness and success, but really you're depleting yourself, right? We don't want to do that. That's not true fulfillment. So let's start talking about how to define your own version of happiness and success. And today's video will be an interactive exercise, so get your notebooks ready or open up your Word doc and we'll get into it. Before we get into the exercise, I'd like to thank BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Therapy has helped me better understand what truly makes me feel happy and successful on my own terms. It helped me work through why I was always pushing myself so hard and stressing myself out. Because I was chasing someone else's idea of success and was conditioned to feel like I was never good enough. Therapy taught me to reframe my mindset and how I view my own self-worth, to redefine what it means to be productive and to bring more joy into my life. BetterHelp makes starting therapy easy. It's a platform where you can connect with a licensed therapist and get support tailored to your needs. You just fill out a questionnaire and then you'll be matched with a therapist in as little as a couple days. If your first therapist doesn't feel like the right fit, you can easily switch until you find someone you really connect with. If you're struggling and think you'd benefit from a therapy session, click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/Aileen or choose Lavendaire during sign up and get 10% off your first month of therapy. Now let's get into the exercise. So you want to ask yourself, what does happiness mean to me? What does happiness look like to me? And take your time and jot down bullet points of all your definitions of happiness, what it means to you, what it looks like to you. Think about the times in your life where you felt really alive or fulfilled, and just write down everything that comes to mind and try to just not limit yourself, but just write down everything. Feel free to pause and take your time to journal. Next, we're going to do the same thing with your definition of success. So what does success mean to you? What does success look like to you? It might help to think back on your life. What were the things that you did that you consider your most successful moments? Or what do you feel proud of yourself for doing? What does success feel like to you? And try to note down the achievements, the actions, as well as the feeling. Like, what does success feel like? I think is also really, like, it can really help guide you. Bonus prompt, when you're going through writing your definitions of success, if you find that you're listing mostly external or material definitions, that's totally okay, but ask yourself the follow-up question, why? Why do I believe this is a definition of success? What gives me the idea that this is success? Next step is to start ranking and prioritizing your definitions for happiness and success. So I think you can do this separately, but if you found that most of these are interlinked, then you can do it all together as one. It really depends on the person and how you want to separate those two things. What the step will do for you is help you understand where your values lie. It helps you understand what matters the most to you in life right now. Understand that as we go through life, our values and priorities might change. So this is like a fluid list. It's not like a ranking set in stone, but it is a ranking for right now. What do you prioritize and value right now? What does happiness and success mean to you right now in this current stage of your life? So do your best. All right, after you're done ranking your definitions, it's time to do a quick little reflection. So simply just look at your ranking and reflect on what you think of what you chose to prioritize and what you chose to not prioritize. Maybe you realize that your definition for success and happiness are different than you originally thought. Like maybe you discovered something here, so just take a moment to reflect. Beautiful. So now you're gonna craft your happiness and success statements. So finish the sentence. I feel happiest when ... And also, I am successful when ... So finish those two sentences with whatever you want, based on what you prioritized in your rankings of your definition of happiness and success. So try to make your statements concise. I know you want to include everything in the sentence, but it has to be a statement that you can remember, that you can recite. Like it should be short enough that it's, you'll memorize it easily, and you put it as like an affirmation in your notes, on your phone, on your wallpaper, whatever. And of course, if you want to combine the two, that's totally fine. So just finish the statement, I am happiest and successful when ... All right, if you finish writing your statements, I'd love to hear what you came up with. Please comment down below with your statements or just your simple definition of what happiness and success mean to you, because I love to see what you guys are thinking and get some inspiration from what you write as well. I love reading your comments. I know I always ask you guys to share a little bit something in every video, and I do read every single comment. So I'll just put some comments that I loved from the last video, how to protect your peace. These were some good ones on screen. Thank you so much for sharing. So in my journey, I had a few pivotal moments in my life where I had to redefine what success meant for me. When I was really young, success was simply get good grades, go to a good college, literally just do good as best as I could in every aspect of life. And then when I was about to graduate from college, I had my mental breakdown, depressed moments where I just realized I couldn't move on this path any further, and I had to redefine what success and what happiness meant for me. And so I embarked on trying to figure that out. I've told that story. It's the story of how Lavendaire began. Essentially, instead of going towards this path that everyone around me defined as happiness and success, like the path of getting a corporate job, making a lot of money, blah, 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 I realized that internally, I wanted to feel fulfilled. I wanted to be more creative. I wanted to create a life where I had freedom. I didn't have to go into an office every day. I wanted time freedom, location freedom. I wanted financial freedom. I wanted a more abundant life than being put in a box in a way. And so I had to figure out what that meant and how to create that. And so at that time, I defined that as my version of happiness and success, which to a level I still believe in. But on that journey, I also realized that I kept some remnants of this definition of success, that you have to be productive, you have to be achieving, you have to always succeed, right? And that that mindset really stressed me out. It burnt me out. I just kept going into these cycles of like burnout, no energy, no motivation, trying to push myself, and then doing well and then burning out again. And it wasn't sustainable. And I realized that even though I looked successful on the outside, I had the money, I had the followers or whatever, like I didn't feel my happiest on the inside. And I was like, why? Why am I stressing myself out when I am my own boss, when I decide what I want to do with my life? Why am I putting this internal pressure on myself? Which is like the past 4 to 5 years, I had been unraveling, tying my self-worth with external success, external validation, which I've also shared on this channel. And so my definition of happiness and success has sort of evolved since then, because it's not about growing at a high rate. It's not about making a lot of money. It's not about like always doing best, always like leveling up. True happiness and true success for me now at this point of my life is inner peace, balance. It is following my joy, doing what makes me happy, but not pushing myself too hard. It is being creative and being in flow, but not forcing it too hard. It's accepting that I have seasons in life, accepting when I feel low, I'm low. I'm not going to be productive, and that's okay. As long as I'm nurturing myself, taking care of myself, my health, like that is still success. Like I am happy as long as I take care of myself. Like health has also become much higher on the priority scale and the value scale, especially as I get older. When I was younger, I deprived my health, I sacrificed sleep, I just didn't go outside. I was like working like hours and hours because I was trying to chase this one version of success. But now health is so much more important to me than like growth of my business, right? So different priorities for different stages of life. And so that's why it's always important to reevaluate what you define as success and happiness. But I would say now my version of happiness and success is just much more calm, peaceful, and it's much more internally focused versus externally focused. Learning to embrace life and flow with the ebbs and flows of life. Like, embrace all the phases that you go through and be okay with it, not try to rush and not try to push. Another big part is living authentically and living aligned to my inner self, always honoring myself and what I feel good doing, what I feel is the right thing to do or the right direction to go, instead of feeling obligated or feeling pressured by anything outside of myself. And the last bit about what success means to me as well, because, given all the things that I've said about inner peace and flowing and going slower, I have found that it is really easy to go into that lazy mode and just accept everything. And sometimes I'm not pushing myself to my potential because I'm like, it's okay. I don't have to work. I don't have to be productive. I love myself regardless, which is, there's extremes on both sides. There's pushing yourself too hard and then completely being like, Gudetama is what I thought of, like the Sanrio egg, like just completely being a blob and not doing anything. So life is the middle path, everything in moderation. So anyway, what I meant to say as the last definition of success that kind of helps me rebalance and stay in the middle is to continue to live in a way and take action in a way that makes me feel proud of myself. So keyword, being proud of myself. And that's what keeps me from being completely too lazy and too accepting of everything. Because if in order to be proud of myself, I have to stretch myself a little. I do have to push myself outside of my comfort zone. I do have to do things that are scary. I do have to do things that are a reach for me, right? So there is a level of pushing, but it's gentle pushing. It's not forceful pushing. So that is how I define happiness and success for now. There's a lot of moving parts, right? So anyway, the point is, the beauty of this exercise is that it is deeply personal what happiness and success mean to you. And also, it can change over time as you go through different life stages. As you heal from trauma, your definition might change. So this also reminds you to not look at other people's lives and compare yourself to them. Don't look at other people's lives and judge them or judge yourself against them, because they could have a different version, a different definition of what success means to them as you. So you might see someone chasing money and you might have this thought like, oh, money doesn't mean equal success, but it might, right? It might for them. Or you might see someone who looks completely unsuccessful on the outside, but they are so like happy and successful on the inside. So you really can't judge. And the very interesting point is the only person who can tell if you are living aligned to your version of success and happiness is yourself. Literally, no one else can tell you for you. Like it's a conversation that you have with yourself. It is a feeling. It is a understanding and a silent agreement in a way, right? It's like in every decision that you make, is this aligned to my definition of success or happiness? It is this internal pact that you have with yourself. And you feel really, really good if you continue to listen and stay aligned to your values and this definition for yourself. And you feel not good and uncomfortable and frustrated and all these negative tension emotions when you are not taking actions aligned to that definition of success and happiness. So only you can be the judge for yourself. How well are you doing? No one on the outside can tell, and no one on the outside can judge. All in all, this is how you begin to create a life that feels completely authentic and completely fulfilling to you. And that's why I say this is literally the crucial step, one of the first steps you should take as you embark on creating your dream life, is literally define what your ideal is and understand that it's flexible, and remember to go back and reevaluate, is this still what I want? Is this still what is ideal for me? Or do I want to, edit it a little bit? All right, I hope you enjoyed this exercise and this concept that is pretty simple, but I think more people need to do. So if you liked it and if you think someone else could benefit from it, feel free to share this video with anyone that you think would like it. Oh my God, I just remembered to make a quick announcement that we are launching our 2025 Artist of Life workbook on October 17th. So mark your calendars, October 17th. I know a lot of you are waiting for it. If you're on the email list, you get early access. So those people on the list will get to shop the workbook before everyone else on social media and the interwebs. So yeah, look out for that. Sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.